time, so please hear me out. These are the last few words that I'd like to say to you all. This is my last call. Tell my wife I love her and that I won't be home tonight. Thank her for those long hard years that we tried to get it right. Tell her I'll be waiting after she makes it through it all. This is my last call. But ask her to forgive me. Tell her I'm sorry. That I can't be the man that she's gonna be. Tell her I'll be waiting where the winter meets the fall. This is my last call. Tell my children that I love them. Oh yeah, the daddy always loved them so. Tell them to hold the mother tight and to never let her go. Tell them I'll always be watching, looking over them through it all. This is my last call.
Yeah. So that where was
a touching song, isn't it?
Yeah. Where did that come from? Oh, by the way, welcome to So Mean.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So that was done by the police department.
It was done by the Bardstown Police Department. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that for him.
So we thought we'd finally get started on the Bardstown murders. There's let's see, 4 sets. I think. Let me list them off. We've got Jason Ellis. He's a police officer. Then Kathy and Samantha Netherland, Crystal Rogers, and then Tommy Ballard, the father of Crystal Rogers, which is really, it's so strange that there's all these murders in this small amount of time in a small town where you'd think things would be solved easily.
You would assume that they would be, yeah. And especially these ones. And I actually got an email that there could be other things connected too, but I need to dig into that before our next show. Just really odd circumstances when you've got people who you know are good suspects and nothing's happening.
Well, you'll have to send me that same stuff so I can look at it.
Absolutely, yeah. I will.
Yeah.
I just actually got it this morning, so I definitely will.
Yeah.
So how are you? How's everything?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, just
good.
trying to get healthy. I just have had so many tests and stuff lately. Just trying to get to a point where I'm feeling good every day. So.
Are you feeling unhealthy?
There's just been, I didn't sleep very good. Just a whole bunch of different things. I just made sure I got all of my tests. I got the colonoscopy. I went to a heart specialist because I have an irregular heartbeat. Then I just had a sleep study. I've got all different vaccines and everything. So I'm just I'm just ready to get into a groove where I don't have to do anything. I mean, not every day. I've just been on this crazy regiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, I hope everything is okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to die or anything.
Oh, come on. Jesus.
That'd be bad. I'd be up here alone,
yeah.
Replaying your voice and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to get into Bardstown. Bardstown, like Ray was just saying, there are a lot of murders that have happened there. It was named one of the most beautiful towns, and it really is very pretty. I went down this rabbit hole about a year ago. I know Gray was looking into it even well before that. The main person is a lady named Crystal Rogers, who still hasn't been found. But a lot of people cover Crystal and then forget that there are these other people too. So we're going to kind of go in order. And the first person we're going to talk about is Jason Ellis. Jason was 33, and he was a 7-year veteran of the Bardstown, Kentucky police force. He was a decorated K-9 narcotics officer. In 2007, he was commended for his brave actions on duty. And in 2008, he was recognized as Officer of the Year in his department. And what happened was at approximately 2:50 a.m. on May 25th, 2013, Officer Jason Ellis finished his shift for the night. It was about a 15-minute drive home. He signed off on his radio. He was driving home when he encountered some branches blocking the road on exit 34 of the Bluegrass Parkway. So he sees these branches out there, and they're in the middle of the parkway. And to ensure safety of the public, he gets out of his vehicle to go clear these branches, and he's picking them all up. He's going to bring them to the side of the road. And when he's attempting to remove them, shotgun blasts start coming, and they hit him in the torso, his arms. Some of the fragments hit his face. And even though I believe he did have his vest on, he was, very bruised underneath. He didn't have time to pull his pistol. He didn't know where the shots were coming from because it was the dead of night. And he died at the scene. He was discovered by a passing motorist who pulled over to see why in the world, there's a cop car parked here. There was another car with a family in it parked over to the side. And I believe the mom had jumped in and used Jason's, the car radio, to just say officer down. She was panicking. She didn't know what to do. And the gentleman who pulled his car over went over and touched Jason. He was already cool. He wasn't breathing. He was already gone. So, and I don't know, have you ever heard this, Gray, that they thought that it could have been more than one shooter that night coming down off of the...
I have heard that. I don't know what the forensics said, though. I don't really know that part of it. But it does seem like he was specifically targeted. See, a lot of people don't, they don't seem to get it. I mean, that part of it, but it's so obvious. The tree's in the road. A police officer is going to stop and move it. Maybe a regular person could go around it because they just want to get home, right?
Right.
Like just a civilian. But a police officer is always going to stop, and they're going to try to get the branches out. And do you know if it? I don't remember the details on. Do you think the shots came from up above on the tops of those?
Coming down.
Yeah.
They seemed to be downward trajectory towards him, but then there were a few that seemed more straight on from what I'm remembering. So that's why I was wondering if it could have been more than one. I always kind of felt like it was more than one.
Yeah, like for example, this is Bardstown over here, so obviously he gets off of work, and people know there's somebody that knew what time he got off of work, and I think there was somebody that he even radioed ahead. Like, I think there's somebody that was maybe in this area looking backwards saying, okay, here he comes. And then you throw the tree down, because you wouldn't want to throw the tree down before, because another car might have got stuck there, even though that exit's probably rarely used after, say, midnight, because There's nowhere to really go other than homes out there, and who's out driving around at 250 other than cops. So I think somebody might have radioed ahead, and then he drove down like that. He was driving. We can just go right down on the road here. Hey, thanks, Amy. And he took this exit here because this is how he gets home at night. And somebody knew his route home every single night. It just seems really clear. And this also gave the killers a quick exit back out onto a freeway.
Right.
So, he goes up this ramp right here. There's even a memorial on there.
Yeah, there is.
Hopefully I can... There we go. Oops. So he's coming around, and then I think that might even be it right there. I think they changed the street view. It used to be a little different one. Hold on. Is that it? I have to go up in the air now. Oh, it's right there. Okay. Okay, there's the memorial. It used to be different than that, but so right here, basically, he. I wonder what that's got to be related. Forgotten.
Forgotten.
Yeah.
225.
That's the date he got killed.
2013, yeah.
Forgotten. What is it? Officer, maybe.
No.
Let me go the other
What
way.
is that?
Let me go the other way, and I can just read it.
139 was his number, right? Never forgotten.
Something.
Never forgotten, but why they wrote it going 139, never forgotten, and then the date.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if that's his number or something, or maybe that's.
Yeah, I believe it is, actually.
And there we can see it. So it does say never. So never forgotten. And then there's something. This is the date up here. All right. So right here, there was a tree. Branches. Not a tree, but like branches thrown in the road there. And then as soon as the officer Jason Ellis got out, there was probably somebody standing right up here, shooting down on him. And maybe, it could have been somebody over here too, but. I don't know. It seems like it'd be hard to hide, because this is like a little cliff here. So how would you hide from Officer Ellis? Right?
Well, you could be right behind that tree, and as soon as he stops, you just come out from behind it.
That's what I mean. But it's up here though, right? Like it's not going to be, you wouldn't be standing on the road.
No, right, exactly.
Yeah. So
I would think they'd be somewhere up there.
Yep. And there's even a 179 right there. 139, so that's probably his number.
Sad.
Officer number.
Sad.
Yeah, so I think that somebody probably said, okay, here he comes. Or even, I guess you could even say how possible is it to be at the top up here? Right. Maybe, I don't know, it's hard to see because down here, you'd have to run all the way around. But I guess if you were right over here, right? Like, what if you were standing
on the other side of it,
like maybe at the top of this hill looking down, and then you just run over really quick? I don't know how far. Let's see how far that is. It's probably not very far at all. If you were standing right there, and that's only yards. It is 76 yards. It's not very far at all. You probably run there in 10 seconds.
Yeah, because you could park your car right over there.
Yeah, and you could literally park your car even just around the corner because nobody's going to be coming up there as well, too, right? I don't know where do you think they would? Let's take a look at it from up here. This thing's driving me crazy.
They actually.
This thing's driving me nuts. Hold on. I can't get rid of this.
1 second here. I thought I had something showing that as well.
Yeah, so you could just park a car right over here, and when it's done, you just run around the corner and get into it. And let's see what it looks like over here. I'm gonna look up that direction. Yeah, so like right up in, I don't know if you can see all the way down though. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like somebody had to have been a lookout from up here or somewhere saying, okay, here he comes. Then you throw the branches down because now there is absolutely nobody in front of him or anything like that. He's going to take that exit, and as soon as he stops and gets out of his car, you start firing. Because if you put the branch down 10 minutes earlier and then you see another car coming, you're going to always have to be wondering, do I have to pick it up now? Because they're going to stop and then they're going to call. Maybe, yeah, and then it just ruins the whole ambush. What do you think?
I agree. I'm looking right now. I just wanted to see if they would say anything much about where they felt he was. It says investigators eventually determined that Ellis was ambushed. His killer was strategically placing debris on the path, and they knew that he would get out and take it, take it up.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't really say where they thought they were. There's a bunch of course, photos of the scene, but nobody really knows exactly where they came from. The other things too, I found out a lot of interesting things about him when I was researching this. He was actually drafted out of college by the Cincinnati Reds, and he was playing catcher in the minor leagues, and he actually has a baseball card, which was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his wife planned on traveling with him. That's what they wanted to do, but she got pregnant and there were complications and all of this. So he decided to leave and gave up his dream of baseball, which was very sad. But his child Hunter was born with Down syndrome and a lot of health complications. So he gave all of that up to stay at home with his kids and his wife. And he, there's another theory that this could be connected to some of the arrests that he made, of course, because he arrested 350 people in his 7 years that he was with the department. 52 of those were felony indictments in Nelson Circuit Court. Some convictions were for manufacturing meth, and they had longer prison sentences. And a few cases involved violent crimes. There were no homicides. His wife said he didn't talk about his job very much at home because she was a worrywart. She always felt like he was in danger. So he would, blow it off like, I'm Superman, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen to me. Plus he had his canine partner, Figo, who was a shepherd, and they rode together all the time. The times that she would ride along with him, because he was busy, he was an active officer, they would have date nights, and she would go on ride-alongs with him, which I thought was really quite sweet too. There was a big side to him that everybody loved this guy. Of course, probably not the people he was arresting didn't love him very much, but everybody else, I mean, you can see some of the officers in the videos, they're crying, and it was pretty sad. You can
tell that they really, like, he was one of the favorites, a good person. They're all, even the older officers are crying. I mean, that's tells you a lot about him. It's weird if you think about it. It's the people that he arrested and put in prison. The revenge angle doesn't happen as much as I'm wondering if he knew something, and because he was a drug enforcement person, he was onto something, maybe internally or something, and possibly. There were some people that were nervous and took him out, because that would be the main reason to actually kill somebody, because there are revenge, like, oh wow, I got put in prison, but actually they know why they're in prison. Like, they're not going, I got screwed. They know that they deserve to be in there, so that does happen sometimes. But he's trying to. What do you think
about Nick then? What do you think about Nick Houck? Do you think
that's the thing.
Had something on him?
Well, that's the thing. Nick Houck, the brother of Crystal Rogers, were they boyfriend, right? Brooks, right? But he was a boyfriend, right?
He was her boyfriend.
Yeah. So Brooks, the next, in 3 cases from now, will be Crystal Rogers. She, has a boyfriend named Brooks, and then they have children too, right?
They have a child together, then she has other children that were not Brooks' children. Right. That'll be quite a story when we tell you that one.
Yeah. So Nick is the brother, and there's actually, it's pretty wild, but he worked in the same police station as Jason Ellis. They may have even had similar shifts sometimes, or crossover shifts. They obviously knew each other, and Nick's a really shady person, despite what he's an interesting guy because he knows all the tricks, what to do. We have 2 interrogations one of Brooke and the other one of Nick. And during Brooke, Nick calls in and tries to tell, tries to tell Brooke what to say, what to do, and that's overheard by officers. So we'll play all that later, but it just shows you that he's a really conniving person, and you can kind of see that what if he was involved in something. He seems like somebody, because a lot of people believe, and me included, that Nick and Brooke are responsible for Crystal Rogers and her father, the murders.
I agree.
Right. So if you believe that, and they've gotten away with it, then wouldn't they be able to get away with Jason Ellis? Same kind of deal.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, it's very strange, that they worked together. Jason had been on the force 7 years at the time of his death. And at the time of his death, Nick had been on that same force, same police department for 8.5 years. So they definitely knew of each other. Bardstown does not have a huge, massive police department. It's not New York City by any stretch. And he's very shady. The man is shady. So I do wonder that because, he was a drug enforcement. He was out there arresting these guys. The other thing is, as well, within the next few weeks, the Bardstown Police Department started receiving threats that Officer Ellis was only the first victim. More members of the town's small police department force would be targeted next. The FBI then got involved. They examined the documents that they received. Although they believe it was not written by Jason's killer, the FBI then increased the reward for information leading to an arrest, but nothing's ever happened with that. So I was wondering about that too. If they could determine that they didn't think it was from his killer, could, allegedly, we're going down a conspiracy road, could Brooks have written it?
Mom,
Jason's partner? Okay, buddy.
Yeah, or it could have been. Oh, go ahead.
We don't know yet.
I'll be right there. It's for me.
Yeah, or it could just be by somebody else that was arrested, and now they want to scare people. That was their getting back. Maybe it was one of the other people Jason Ellis arrested over the years, and they were like, "Hey, I'll do this anonymously." I don't know how they are determining that. Hey, welcome, Daniel, or what was it, Danielle Reamer and BVK. Yeah, you guys go ahead and hit the become channel members. That'd be awesome. Merry Christmas. Yeah, so what about some random person?
Goodness.
One of the other victims, not victims, but the other criminals that were arrested, now they're trying to do anonymously to scare the cops that once got them arrested. Maybe it's not Brooke or anything like that, but that's
Maybe not.
It's just somebody going, trying to, when somebody goes missing, you get the ransom calls, but they didn't really have anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to try to.
But I was thinking, this is probably going to sound really nuts, but sometimes the police work with the drug dealers, and they're making good money from the drug dealers, right? So if Jason was a narcotics officer, and Hauk there knew he's onto something, then that's taking money from Brooks and the brother. So they would have some motivation. And maybe
an arrest that hadn't happened yet. Like it was something, Jason is telling, Nick found out that he was onto some guy, like, hey, I think this, and now Nick is thinking, shit, that's my connection. He's the one. And if he ever got arrested, then he would talk and implicate Nick. So then you got to take him out, right? Yeah. Because Nick's really, both of them are shady as you can get. I mean, they are just piles of crap.
Which kept leading me down the path back to them, And I mean, I'm sure there's, we can talk about this little part now. There was a guy. They actually had a gang. His name was Brant Shekels. So Brant Shekels is accused of making the statement that he killed Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis. Police say he's known to associate with the Bardstown money gang. Not long after Ellis was ambushed and murdered back on May 25th of 2013, Kentucky State Police started looking into the so-called Bardstown money gang, or BMG. We don't believe they had anything to do with it, says Chief Rick McCubbin, Bardstown Police. Of course, nothing is 100% though. Nothing has been ruled out, as you know, but we don't believe that they had anything to do with it. Investigators focused on the group because prior to his death, Officer Ellis had arrested 3 of the gang's members. I think this boils down to a bunch of punks who are wannabes who need to get a job and quit being leeches to society. Not only do they talk about it, they sing about it and put it on social networks. Over the weekend, a party in an open field quickly got out of hand in Nelson County. Witnesses tell police a group of people joined the party uninvited, shouting "Big Money Bardstown Gang," and then started causing trouble. Deputies stepped in and arrested Shekels, who not only threatened the deputy who was arresting him, but also said he was the one involved in Ellis's murder. Nelson County Police Sheriff Stephen Campbell is asking anybody with video from that night to come forward. Texts, emails, Facebook posts, anything of that type may hold some information. We want to be able to check this out. Now, Brant Shekels is the nephew of Bardstown Mayor Bill Shekels. So, Brant Shekels was arrested for injuring other partygoers. As for claiming to kill Officer Ellis, they believe it's all talk. They're trying to empower themselves by making a claim and intimidating people and using a fear factor like, I'm so bad, I killed a cop. Now,
what the hell's going on in Bardstown anyways? I mean, Bardstown has...
one of the leaders of the money gang is the nephew of the mayor. I don't know. There's a lot happening here. There's a lot happening in this whole story here.
I mean, the thing is Bardstown is not even big. I mean, you have all these murders, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, he was inferring to the cops when he got arrested. He was like, the same thing that happened to Ellis is going to happen to you. And, he's like, this. Who do you think you are? You're threatening police. You're saying you killed, Jason Ellis. It's just, I don't know. But his uncle says, for someone to go out and make an outlandish statement like that, it just opened the wounds back up that people had not healed, says Bill Shekels, the Bardstown mayor. Police know that Shekels is part of the Bardstown money gang and is just mostly talk. But this is not the first time he's made comments connecting himself to Officer Ellis. In July, he was also arrested, and according to another police citation, the officer writes, Shekels made several threats to my life and comments regarding Officer Ellis's murder.
Yeah.
Bill, the mayor, says, he's my nephew, but unfortunately you can't pick your friends. You can pick your friends, but you always can't pick your relatives.
Yeah.
He says his nephew's just a young kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's just out here making people feel uneasy, and that won't be happening on my watch. Well, it is happening on your watch because he's threatening cops.
Yeah, it sounds to me it's just kind of like he's, there's an unsolved cop killing, just one. And of course, if you're pissed off at a cop and you're in a gang, hey, we're going to get you just like that guy. It doesn't mean he had anything to do with it.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know of any gang members who would get arrested for assault and imply that they were the murderer of a cop. I don't know any gangsters who are that brave, unless you are involved in something where you're protected.
Or maybe he knows he's protected because his uncle or whatever is the mayor.
Maybe.
So he just feels like he can be cocky, say whatever the hell he wants, and everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible too. His uncle doesn't seem very fond of him, but at the same time, he could probably get him out of any trouble that he was getting into.
Well, he wouldn't want him to be in trouble either.
God.
The mayor isn't going to want this guy to be charged with any, his nephew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah,
Yes, that's an interesting road. I'm not really sure what about that, but Officer Nick Hauk was on shift the night Ellis was murdered. Not
there's no Brent. There's no Brent
There's
in the case.
Brooks and Nick. So.
Nah, I don't know if he was out the same night.
Yeah, I don't know either. I wish we had.
Yeah, I think I remember it was something like he was the earlier shift and something like that.
Possible.
Yeah, you can't just type something in and it's a fact there. Yeah, everybody hit that like button. You wouldn't want me to have to hit the auctioneer. Yeah.
No, we don't want that. So what else? Let's see here. We went over this nut job here.
I mean, we know that he obviously he was ambushed and killed. Somebody wanted him specifically dead. So
for sure.
So you just have to figure out who really wanted him dead, and they obviously haven't been able to prove that. I bet you they have good theories, and they actually think they might know, but they can't prove it, so they're not saying anything.
Well, I wonder if there are. I mean, there have to be theories within the police department, but it's been years now and they can't find any connection to anything at all. No ballistics from the shell casings that they found.
Well, that makes you think it was somebody a police officer. You know, you're going to use a gun that is probably, it's clean, for them to use. Something maybe they got from somebody else, used it, and that's disposed of, and they would know how to dispose of it because they're police officers. I mean, there was something that was so brazen like that. I mean, I guess I don't know how brazen it is. It's 2 a.m, but you'd think there'd be some kind of evidence somewhere. You got a guy where they were standing, the shell casings. I mean, what they should do is, back when this happened, there wasn't that technology to gather fingerprint DNA off of shell casing. I mean, Hopefully they still have shell casings. I'm sure there was a few, so that if they were dumb enough to not use gloves to put them in to the gun, then maybe they can determine who fired those. But, because that's new. That's a brand new technology in the last year where they can get that information off of a shell. And I think it was a shotgun, so that'd be those bigger shells, right?
Right, and it's still being investigated. Let me see something here. So, I mean, I'd hate to think that they're not investigating it because, someone's involved within the department. But, I mean, stranger things happen all the time, so you really never know. Yeah, I mean, it's been 8 years. There was an article out in May, and 8 years after Bardstown police officer Jason Ellis was murdered, his killer still walks free. His friends and family are still continuing with their quest for justice. They say that there isn't a day that goes by that we don't remember, honor, and talk about Jason. He stood between good and evil. He stood for what was right. And I think more than ever today, I want that to be what everyone thinks about. He stood between good and evil, and he was the sacrifice. Ellis's murder is still being conducted by Kentucky State Police, Post 4, and the FBI. I mean, there's nothing.
And it's weird, too, because, the FBI probably did the data dump of cell tower and probably got nothing out of that. And so that just shows you that there was a sophistication level of the shooter. Like they actually knew what was going on. Like they knew what would lead to detecting who they were.
Which makes me think not some silly gang member.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Not so much unless they were instructed on what to do, how to do it, how to be secretive about it. But you also don't want to involve gang members with police officers because the gang member could flip really fast. So it keeps leading me back to another police officer, which I know is crazy, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, another police officer would know exactly what time he got off of work. They'd know where he lived and the route that he would take home. They know all that stuff. You know, because there's only really one route here. I mean, it was weird actually watching how this works. Is so you take this exit right here. So from Bardstown over here, you would drive down, I guess, this 9002, kind of an odd highway number, but you would take this exit, come up, and then he has to cross over here, and then it's actually a pretty straight route. Then you have to go back underneath the freeway or it looks like over the freeway, and then he lives right over here, and there's actually no other way to get there. I was just looking at it.
15-minute drive, right, to his house from where he was killed.
Let's see how far that is. Yeah, it's 6 miles. So
yeah, from the police station or something. They said it was like a 15-minute drive home.
Yeah.
So you know you're going home, and you know what he was doing before he got called that day? He was coaching his son's little league in his uniform. You know, there's photos of him pitching to his son real quick, and then he got a call, and he had to go. And his wife was upset. She did not want him to go. She knew that he had to, but I mean, what a way to be, you know, you're playing ball with your kids,
and then
you go to work later. And you never make it home.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a convoluted way to go home because that's it. I mean, if you drove down the highway here, you can't get off anywhere to get to your house. Look at this. See, that's an overpass, right? And then there's nowhere else to get off. So the only way to get to that house, that's why
it's around the exit.
Like at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:50, there's another soul that's going to be driving here. So it sounds like somebody knew he was getting off work, and you probably could have just thrown it down there and expect that nobody else would take that exit. Because look at how few people would even... What?
I mean, we did have the guy who found him and the lady who called the...
but he was already cold, right? So it was a long time later.
He was already cold, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been a long time later. I mean, like an hour later, right? Do you know what time that was when they...
I want to say that they called it in. He got off work at 2.
2, yeah.
They said it was a 15-minute drive, and I think the person found him at almost 3.
Okay. So an hour later. So I guess somebody would do it. So maybe I still think it's more likely there was a lookout, knowing that he got off, and here he comes. You know, or you just got there 10 minutes before and just took a chance because almost nobody takes it.
You knew what time he got off.
Right.
Who else is going to know? Who in the world's going to know that this man gets off at this time and drives home this way?
Well, something you said a minute ago was interesting. So was he just called in unexpectedly to go to work that day?
He was in his uniform.
But you were saying he was coaching a softball game.
Right, but he was coaching in his uniform. So he probably knew he had a shift that day, right? But he got called. And he kind of left, and his wife was upset with him. She wasn't happy because my assumption is he went a little bit early. I think I actually have her quote here too. Last place I saw Jason was at the baseball field. Jason, a former baseball player himself, coached his son's team just hours before he was murdered. I did have more of a quote, I'm sure, from her actually, and it, you know, she felt bad because you don't want your last thoughts about your husband to be, you know, they're calling him in again.
Yeah.
You know, she was very proud of him, but she was aggravated because he was coaching, and I think he got the call and he had to go. He had to leave early. So,
yeah, just looking at this again. See, here's this exit, and there's actually no other way to get home. So that even proves more. You know, the person knew that they had to take that exit, and so because there's no other way to get home, there literally isn't. That would make sense. I mean, you could drive all the way over here, find some crazy back road, and I mean, those all get cut off. Maybe that one, then you could come back. You know, I guess if you missed.
Yeah, I mean, you're not in a huge developed city. Bardstown, you know.
It's quaint. So it's interesting. I mean, it's crazy that they built such an elaborate thing here to go to almost nowhere, right? You're just heading to little, rural houses here and there. But so they definitely knew that 100%. And I think that really kind of just means that somebody, obviously somebody that knew exactly when he got off. And then was it somebody that was just stalking him every single day and knew that? It would be really interesting if it was something out of the normal that he worked that shift that day. That would be really interesting, because then it would have to be somebody.
No, he was definitely going to work. He was in his whole uniform that day that he went in.
Was that his normal shift always too? Like the?
No.
Because that'd be interesting if that was one of the few days that he just happened to work that shift, because then that would be an internal. That would suggest somebody internally knew what time he was getting off that day, or somebody told somebody internally. Somebody internally told somebody outside. Okay, here he comes. Man, wouldn't that be creepy? Jeez. Be interesting to see what phone calls Nick was making that very same night. I wonder if they checked that out. Now, wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine. Ooh. Yeah, here we go. Ellis's life revolved around his family. In fact, he was at his youngest son's baseball game when he was called in during the busy Memorial weekend. He got called away in the middle of the game, and we did not get to say goodbye to him. Now, I do have a photo.
So he was in his uniform at the game.
It looks that way, unless this is an older picture.
So why did they call him in then? See, doesn't that sound like it was more like, how you're a doctor and you're on call and you go, hey, you got to come in, and you're like, crap,
Right.
That's what that sounds like.
Jason went through his normal routine. He called Amy to say goodnight, took a suspect to jail, and then left Bardstown at around 2 a.m. Taking his nightly route home, he drove down the desolate Bluegrass Parkway, winded around exit 34 until something stopped him in his tracks, tree limbs blocking the road. But I want to say he was working that day. Let me just...
There was something also I thought about the vehicle that he was using. I can't remember exactly.
I don't think he was in his canine vehicle that day.
Right, yeah, maybe that's what it was.
He was in a patrol vehicle.
And see, that's another thing, too. If he had his canine, there would have been, that's the thing. It's almost like this person knew exactly what was going on. What a perfect
he did not have him with him that day.
Yeah.
Let me see. 5 years later. "5 years ago seemed like a normal Friday in the small town 40 miles southeast of Louisville." Okay, 2 a.m. You see something here. Nope. It doesn't say. Now I've got to find it. Now I'm like, was he supposed to work that day or not?
Yeah. Well, I guess we could play this thing, see what it says.
There you go.
Investigators asked for tips to tackle an unsolved mystery, the murder of an officer from the tri-state. 8 years ago today, Bardstown officer Jason Ellis was shot and killed during an ambush. His killer has not been caught. Ellis graduated from Glen Estee High School and left behind a wife and 2 sons. There is more than $200,000 in reward money for information leading to an arrest and conviction. Kentucky State Police are still asking for tips. An officer has not been caught. Ellis graduated from Glen Estee High School and left shot and killed during an ambush. I
just want to see what that looked like back then. See, look at how much it's wide open up there. Like a field almost, right up here.
Yeah.
And that's right above where I think
there's really good shots of it.
Yeah.
His killer has.
I don't know if it had anything extra than that, but let me see. Let's try to find some more of those pictures.
Okay, here we go. I did find some good information too. May 24th, 2013, a day like any other for the young family in the heartland of America. It was the Friday right before Memorial Day weekend, so an extended weekend was right in their sights. Jason had now served Bardstown Police Force for close to 7 years and had become an upstanding member of the community, Officer of the Year, etc. He was a canine officer, in fact, the only one in Bardstown. But on this chosen day, his canine-equipped vehicle was in the shop, so he was using a run-of-the-mill police cruiser. His German Shepherd partner, Figo, was taking a small staycation at the family's home. For the time period in which his canine-equipped cruiser would be getting repaired, Jason was driving a run-of-the-mill cruiser. This one didn't have a dash cam on the front of the vehicle like he had become accustomed to. It was approximately 2 o'clock in the morning. Jason used his car radio to inform dispatch that he was off for the night. 139 Adam off duty. Dispatch confirms this call, and Jason begins the drive. He goes down South Foster Ave, heads to the overpass, which leads him onto Bluegrass Parkway. This is the same route Jason uses to drive home every single night. His work schedule keeps him away from his family on most nights, due to him working the evening shift. On the road, there's barely another soul in sight, and the entire area of Bardstown seems almost vacant. Everyone's squirreled to sleep in their houses on this early Friday morning. It takes him about 10 minutes to reach his stop, exit 34. This is the stop just minutes away from his home in a heavily shrouded wooded road that leads into the neighboring towns of Springfield and Bloomfield. Figo waits for him outside just like he does every other night. He's greeted at the door by Amy.
That's a good shot right there.
Yes,
Look how
that was a really good one.
It's interesting because they've got for some reason they put crime scene tape there, but I think that's his vehicle right here, right? The one up there in the front, or maybe it's already been taken away. I don't know.
It might have been. Okay, wait 1 second. Here we go. So here's the day that it happens. The day started off like any other weekday. Amy wakes up the kids, heads to school, Bardstown Elementary, where she occasionally works as a substitute teacher. In the chaos of the morning, she forgets to kiss her husband goodbye, letting him sleep. The day proceeds like any other Friday, some small exceptions. Amy, along with Hunter and Parker, celebrate the school's field day with a flurry of outdoor activity. The family has a brief encounter at home. Just as Amy and their sons are getting home from school, Jason is departing for his shift. Jason starts his work day like any other. A little after 5:30, Jason arrives at Dean Watts Park, where Amy is watching their son play t-ball. Jason coaches the team along with his fellow officer, Andrew Riley, a police veteran that has become Jason's best friend since joining the police force. But on this early evening, Jason comes to the field in a pretty grim mood. He's only there for a few minutes before being called back to work. He leaves in a hurry, not even saying goodbye to Amy or their sons. So he went into work for his regular shift. He goes by the park to help around 5:30 to coach with another officer. So maybe their lunch break or whatever they're taking. And he gets the phone call that he has to go back. So he leaves. He never says bye to the kids.
Yeah, that has to make
for
that,
a domestic disturbance.
But that makes it totally that makes it internal. Then how would somebody have known that he was going to go back to work?
Well, he wasn't off work yet. He wasn't finished with his shift. This was mid-shift.
Yeah, but he would have got off earlier than the 2 in the morning, right? I mean, do you think? Because that was early, like 5 o'clock was the baseball game.
Well, it says
that's another
that.
7 hours.
So a night shift for the police station would be what? Probably. So does he work like 2 to 2? Maybe 2 p.m.
No,
to 2 a.m.,
they do
right?
12-hour shifts? Is that what they do?
Maybe. Let's find out. Right.
Yeah, I wonder if that's where his car is right there. Because this looks like right when it happened. There's all these people surrounding.
It's 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. Bardstown Police second shift works 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. So then this makes sense. He sees them in passing at 4 p.m. when he's getting ready to go. So he's a patrolman. So he's patrolling around. He knows the kids have a game. He stops by the game, and then he gets called off to a domestic disturbance. Ex-boyfriend's harassing a woman at the house.
Yeah.
And he ends up writing a ticket for them, and he's hoping to make it back to his son's t-ball game. And he returns to the field. He did go back, but the game's over, and families were packing up everything. Again, he forgets to say goodbye to Amy and the kids, and she ends up getting home. She tries to call him a few times, but the calls don't go through because he's busy with work.
She probably feels bad about that. I bet
He feels awful.
I bet she feels like, because she was probably, upset, like, here, your job's taken away from, you being able to spend time with the kids, or something, it's typical. That's what you would. Yeah. And then that very same day, he gets killed. And look at this image right here. Below it says, police said the gunman was likely on a hill. It's not known if Ellis was targeted or the victim of a random shooting. Well, of course he was targeted. I mean, that's 100% targeted. Random. But I think this is early on, but they do think he was up there. And if you go back to this, I think they were talking about right up there. And I think that might be where the car is. I know it's kind of small, but do you think look at all these people surrounding that vehicle that's right there? Because
it looks a little bit pulled off too. Or that darker one.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's a one-way road, and I think it's just one lane really. But it's off to the side, so maybe the branches were there, and I don't know what side. I'd love to see a photograph of how the branches were on the ground.
Yeah, but they didn't have the dash cam on that car, which is crazy.
Oh yeah, see, isn't that weird too?
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
Dash cam.
There's just some of that stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, it makes sense if somebody knew all of that. And I'm just trying to see if there was any more pictures of the crime scene. Yeah, there's the.
This is interesting, Gray. Hold on. This wasn't an accident. This was an ambush. Whoever was waiting for him, whoever planned this attack, fires down upon him with a shotgun. Jason is hit with at least 2 different types of ammunition. Ammunition usually used for hunting rodents and other small animals.
Yeah, so there you go.
He's
2
hit
people.
multiple times, chest, abdomen, right arm, head. Within minutes, he is dead, executed by someone that had planned this attack.
And it sounds like maybe 2 people. And that would mean...
That's what I was thinking.
And then that could be the person that was the lookout, too, even. Okay, here he comes, and then they just quickly bolt down. Maybe there was somebody even that was around the corner here and show up and finish him off. Because up above there... Well, it's interesting if you go up here. I remember trying to figure this out. Like, if you were up on top up there, do you run this way to get into a vehicle that may have been parked right there? Or do you run back around and get on a vehicle that's over here? You want
to hear the 911 call?
Oh, yeah.
Or the radio call that they did? I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
Turn it around.
No, Tommy was just shot with a sniper rifle.
Oh, Tommy.
118 after you, 0200.
139, fine.
I don't know why they put all this in.
139 after you, 0200.
I don't know how these people understand what the hell anybody's saying.
You need to give us a location.
Bluefield Road by the wire. There's been a tree limb or something. Oxford, please emergency.
Dispatch 126, line 22, 137. Can you start that way?
I'm on Louisville Road heading towards Louisville Road.
Towards the BG.
44, 46. What's your status?
Their location on the BG?
right by the DZ off of Bloomfield Road towards the DZ.
Dispatch, you know what they're talking about?
Negative. Are you going to be in Bloomfield, ma'am? Bloomfield?
Off of Bloomfield, coming out of Bloomfield towards Springfield off the DZ.
It's going to be Highway 55, the 34-mile marker exit, 34-mile marker exit. Highway 55 is going to be Bloomfield Road there.
Dispatch, I'm Bloomfield Road, passing 162, go Bloomfield Road, head that way.
10-4. 44 or 46, what's your status?
We're dropping them off right now. We're heading that way. We're going to be the Y in Bloomfield.
Yes, sir, towards the DZ. Come Bloomfield off the Y towards the DZ.
We're 10-4 on.
Off the Y.
Oh, 122, 126. Where did you say you were?
Now, just so you guys know who this is, there was a little Toyota that a teenager was driving two of his family members home in, and they were intoxicated. So the woman, one of the intoxicated ladies, gets out and jumps into Ellis's car and starts using his walkie-talkie to call this in. She was the intoxicated lady.
I'm on Bloomfield Road. That's Chaparral State.
You know, it's
Anything
like,
about the status of the officer? Is he conscious?
was Nick in the military or anything like that?
Nick Houck?
Because the thing is, it's like a classic. You always hear that classic ambush from an elevated position, too. You know, it's like it's just such a everything about it is just crazy. You know, I mean, it's up above, and that's ambush from above is there's almost no way out from the bottom. I mean, people shoot from above, and then you just back up, and you're blocked by the bank. And you can come reappear at another location if you want to, where the person below has no hiding place.
Bardstown police still refuse to disclose why Officer Nick Houck was suspended, but his personnel file indicates previous problems on the job. 150 pages in his personnel file. He joined the department in 2006, reprimanded in 2012 for insubordination, got 2 warning reports in 2008, one for failing to call EMS to the scene of an accident, and another failing to alert dispatch to a traffic stop. His superiors also had concerns that he failed to make a missing persons report, drove his patrol cruiser while off duty, and was often coming to work late and left early. All right.
Well, he got fired because he called Brooke Houck during, that was kind of, and then they used all the other things to get him out of there. But when he called Brooke during his interrogation and told him to clam up, basically, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't even know if there was any other straws. They just went and said, okay, what else can we, okay, let's pull these ones out, and let's get him out of here.
Well, here's a comment I came across while searching from this. From the outside looking in, I would take a good hard look at the folks with badges over there. I have always thought that poor cop was done in by one of his own. That was an ambush set up military style. There's not a thug or gang on earth that sets up a hit like that. I have no details. I don't know those people. I'm just saying from the altitude, it looks like the cop on cop type of stuff. Huh.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't it? I mean, it really does. I think even if you didn't know about, that definitely helps knowing, okay, there's Crystal Rogers, Nick Houck was on the same police force. He's a conniving type person, dealing with some shady shit on the side.
I'm telling you.
And then that makes it easier to go, wow, but you would even kind of think that even without them. How would anybody know that he was getting off of work at that time of night? Either somebody that was just stalking him over and over and over and knew his schedule, or somebody internal that just knew what time he's getting off. And then again, the stalker would have to follow him home every single night to make sure that he kept doing the same thing over and over. Or somebody internal who's probably been to his house many times and gone with him and knows his route home because they know where he lives, and that's the route he would take. So that's the most obvious direction, is somebody that works there.
Well, this is interesting as well. this says, despite having no leads to go off of, the investigators were certain that at least 2 people had been at the crime scene. Based off information not yet released to the public, State Police Master Trooper Norman Chaffins said in the early days of the investigation, quote, "There are some indicators to us that lead us to believe that there was more than one person." Then, during one of his several press conferences about the shocking crime, Bardstown police told the media that this person or persons responsible for the ambush would have required a degree of tactical precision.
There you go. Boom. Right there. See? Because I was just remembering,
As you're saying it, I'm literally reading what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is I just remember in movies, I mean, it's kind of lame, but like military movies, they'll say, they talk about being in an elevated position. Hell, it's even in The Rock at one point. Well, that's just an absolute win. Like if you're above and these people are trapped down below, they have no escape. They can't hide from anything. And when you're above, you just step back 2 feet, and now you can't be seen by the bank, right? And then you can reappear at another spot with an advantage immediately because you know where they're going to be. Anyways, it's.
Well, his comments seem to spark concerns that this might have been a crime committed by someone with military experience or similar, a former soldier, a fellow cop. This led to all kinds of gossip about it being a professional hit. But if so, that leads us to all other kinds of further questions. Who would kill Jason Ellis? By all accounts, a great guy. Investigators looked into his personal life, searching for any straw they could grasp, and found nothing. No gambling debts, no personal vendettas, nothing. His private life was as squeaky clean as his public persona. A lead did arise in the days after the shooting when it was announced that a letter had been received by Bardstown police threatening violence against the other officers. No details of the letter were ever released to the public, but it was announced that the FBI were contracted to help examine this letter. Analysts and agents examined the document, determined it was likely not written by the actual killer. That did very little to ease the tension of fellow officers and other residents. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. What are you thinking? I think it's somebody internal.
Yeah, I think it was a hit. Here's what City Council member Tommy Reed tells you. I believe this was a hit. Ellis was putting a dent into somebody's drug trade. They got tired of it and put a hit out on him. I think he was under surveillance so that they would know his exact routine.
All right, let's try something right here on using Google Earth, and then they have not Google Earth, but Google Maps. They actually have a historical feature. So here we go. What do we got here? Yeah, 2008. That's crazy. That's before, but closer than now. So let's see. Look at the way that looks there. This is before he was killed. There's no memorial or anything. It's just this high bank.
Can you get to 2013?
Yeah, but I think this one is October 2014. Really close to the time.
That's pretty close.
So here we go, right there, and see that's what it would look like in general, and probably similar too because it was February, right?
Yeah.
And so this is October. It kind of has a similar look. You're just coming out of winter, and so it would look pretty similar to this.
Things are starting to die off.
Yeah. So this is October when things are starting to die off, and the other one is when everything's died off and starting to come back. So you're probably a similar look here. Here's the memorial. That's the one I remember seeing before. And so they think it must have been right up there. And then maybe there was another one on this side too. I mean, look at that, easy. Yeah. Let's see. And then now it looks like that, so it's harder to picture because this is in September. Right at the end of the summer, everything's still pretty lush, and that's how it looked. But it didn't look like that in February. Let's see when that first one is. That's August. So that one is in the middle of summer. This one right here. And that doesn't look quite as lush as it does now, the newer one in September.
Right.
But this October one is probably almost very similar to what it looked like. And this is only like...
Yeah, and there's not a street light out there. So pretty easy. But, you've got to know the area, right? You have to know that area, that there's this place that you can go up there. Nobody's going to see you. And you can shoot down and not miss because he's a cop. If you miss, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And they definitely did not miss.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like right here. Do you think it's, I wonder if, wouldn't that be weird if there was a car parked, or actually, let's go back to this one. I wonder if there's anybody that remembered anything like that. I think, yeah, it's over right there. This is August 2013. Wow, that's the same. This one right here is that same year. But look out, you got, see, that would work. You put a car parked right there.
Definitely.
But that might have actually got him to go. So they might not have put it there because Ellis might have said, "Oh, there's a car there," and went a little bit further. Although maybe not, because there's almost no way to get back at that point.
What if they parked it around the corner there?
Yeah, around there. But I'm trying to think how long it would take to get away. These people would want to do the killing and get the hell out of there quick, right?
Well, there is one street light there now, or in 13. There you go. There's another.
Yeah.
So it's not too pitch black then.
So you could have a car parked right over here, and then the shooter just ran down, jumped off, ran to his car, and got the hell out of there.
Well, because they didn't find him for 35 to 40 minutes based on that 911 call. So
yeah,
I thought it was closer to an hour, but it was about 40 minutes or so.
And they were, let me see.
Signed off.
I think it was in here. Let me go back to that one. Let's see if we can find that exact spot that they're pointing at of the cliff. I just want to make sure we got the right. Oh, there it was. Okay. So let's see. They got that big rounded tree up there. Let me get back onto get up onto the clover leaf, whatever the hell you call this thing.
Clover leaf.
I'm gonna use the other one. I think this is probably better. Yeah. So let's see. Right there. Is that the one? Is that what we're looking at? So there's that tree, and then there's kind of like the rock. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And there's even the smaller one right there. So, yeah, so that's the spot they're pointing up. That they think somebody's right up there, and that's where his car was. Makes sense, right? Because if you look at this one, it looks almost, see that?
Identical, yeah.
You can see it.
Even have the little rocks right there.
Mm-hmm. The little jetting out of the rocks is right in here. Then you got that tall tree, then a shorter one, which is right there.
The same spot right there.
Yeah, so that's where they're saying, and so that means they're on.
Can you go to that high view that you do real quick, right from that spot? So they could have parked.
Yeah. See, and this is, what year is this one? Well, let's go. Let's see what we got on up here for the dates. October 2013.
May 2013.
Yeah, this one just says October 2013. There isn't, the next one's 2011, but this gives you a look.
Date. I'm sorry, I'm looking at your date down there on the bottom. Never mind, I'm crazy.
Oh, yeah, but look at that. Look how cleared out that was back then. Like how easy it would be.
A trail, or you could drive up there. Well, could you from the other side, Greg?
I don't
like
mean
right there. Could
I
you
don't.
just drive,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
But it also makes this nice little place where you can be, and then there's this row of trees right there where you can kind of hide behind a couple of them and do some.
Is there any pull off on that main highway there that you could just pull right off while he's going around the circle, so you could jump back in your car? You know how they have like a breakdown lane on the regular highway? Could you park over there somewhere?
Over here?
There's plenty of spaces.
Yeah, we were looking there, but that's where I was thinking, well, if he was driving and he saw a car, it's possible he would go check out that car and then pass the exit. So what about just right over here? Why wouldn't you, since the vehicle's there, you could just park a car right here, and if Ellis passes, you could just park right on the side, right there even, around the corner.
Would Ellis pass you, though? He's a cop. Wouldn't he?
No, I'm saying, what I'm saying is if from above, See, he's coming this way like this. And if there was a car parked here, he might have passed his exit to go check out that vehicle, right?
For sure.
And then the killer would be, oh crap, he went and looked at the car that I was using. But if you go around the corner here, you can't see, like you put the tree there, you could just park right there. And Ellis wouldn't be able to.
There's a parking lot beyond that edge? Where?
Yeah, but what about like right here? You could just park, let's take a look.
I mean, if there's a parking lot, you could just run right over to the friggin' parking lot because nobody's going to see you parked on the road.
Yeah. Or you could, but you could just put it right here, and right after the shooting, you run over, get in your car, and you go up this ramp, and you're out of there. Now you have options too. You get up to the top here, you can go this way, you can go that way, you can go this way. I mean, you have.
What's that there? Oh, those are houses, huh?
Yeah. I think I'd want to be as close as I could to the shooting spot, but out of view of Ellis. So that would make it like if you were, let's see how far it is around the corner where you can't see the memorial anymore. I wonder if it'd be better to use, let's use this one here. Right, so if we go around this direction.
I don't
This
think
is
you
October.
can see it from there if you were turned around. No.
October 2014. Let me go to that one so I can see. Yeah, you can still see that spot right there. So, the closest on this street is probably right around in this area. Because now you can't see the memorial. You could just park right over on the side here, knowing that he's going to stop. And even if he didn't stop, he'd drive by and you could just fake like, oh man, yeah, my car broke down or whatever,
I was answering something in the chat about the drunk ladies and the teenager. Yeah, I mean, if they had seen somebody there, of course, but they got there about 30 minutes later than the man who walked around the car who found him laying there got there about 42 minutes later. So I'm sure those ladies were questioned had they saw any other cars there on the road. But 30 minutes later, it wouldn't matter what they saw really. Go to the top of the exit and across the street to see the parking lot.
Yeah, I think people just want to come up with something. The thing that makes the most sense is that you would park just out of the way of where the tree is. You make sure that you can't see the tree, and you want to be parked as close as possible to the ambush and get out of there. Because you're not going to want to be hanging out, running up here, trying to find, go run over to your car that's on another side. Because right here, you could go anywhere. You can go this way, that way.
Yeah, and I mean, what kind of parking lot is it? Because it could be like...
It doesn't have to be a parking lot, right? You just pull
No,
over.
I'm asking Caslin, is it a parking lot like a store? Because you wouldn't want to be seen. You wouldn't want anybody to see you anywhere around there. You'd want to be hiding in the cover of darkness.
What does that mean? No, he was getting off exit at the top hill is a small lot. That doesn't make any sense.
She was telling us about the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm just saying he took the exit right here because that's how.
Oh, right there, I see it.
Yeah, he goes home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What parking lot? Are you?
Isn't that it up there? If you keep following the red thing up north there, what's that little dirt path? Isn't that a parking lot with cars in it right there?
Like over here? Yeah, I mean, well, that'd be ludicrous.
That'd be quite
I mean, that's like a quarter of a mile away. It's like, forget it. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, you're just exposing yourself to traffic. You're going to run across, there's...
Anybody could be in there. You don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. But, yeah, all it was is he was heading home at night. Some people say, was he lured there? No, he was just heading home after work. That's the route he goes. He's a police officer. Every single police officer out there is going to stop if there's a tree blocking the road, right? That'd be ludicrous.
It feels very, very, very planned.
Yeah.
This was planned.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like some strange, guy was just crazy in the night and decided, whoever pulls up, I'm going to kill him. No, it very much feels like it was specifically Officer Ellis being targeted, just like the other cases that we're going to talk about, the mom and daughter. Very, I mean, what was it, Easter Sunday? It seemed very planned, all of these. For what reason? There has to be a thread somewhere in all of this.
I'm trying to figure out how this guy, the shooter up above, would have got down. You know, because if there was 2 of them. Hold on, let me get to the October one again.
Caslin said she can get us a video tomorrow if we wanted one from there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right
but I
there.
mean, we don't need to have a video of the parking lot or anything. What would be good is to have one where you could see going around the corner where you could stop, where you can't see this anymore. So up above there, I don't know if if there's some shots from straight on, somebody must have came off the hill to finish him off or something.
Is that not a very busy area? Like, let's imagine that.
Well, it can't be at night.
No, I mean, even in the day, if Caslin went there tomorrow and like parked on the side and hopped up that hill a little bit to give us an image of what that might look like. It's a tiny road. It would look to me like other cars are going to come around and smash your car.
Yeah, I'm sure, like, during normal hours, there's people that take that exit a lot, but I bet you at 2 a.m, it's, very sparse traffic.
That's the other thing that I did hear. The tree or the branches that were blocking the road weren't native to right here. They weren't from that area.
See, that seems weird. See, I remember reading that too. That just seems really bizarre.
Yeah, but they knew it.
Like, you're driving around, which it's almost like they didn't want to have any forensic evidence at the scene of how a branch would have gotten cut off or something like that, right? So they brought their own branches. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
I mean, how the hell? Yeah, here we go. So,
yeah, we know it's an exit ramp, Grammy. Yeah.
Let's see.
I think Cass Lynn is friends with.
She knows a ton.
I think with Ellis's wife, actually, like friends with her. Right? Is that right, Cass Lynn? I kind of remember that.
Where is it? I'm sure I read about this. The branches, which was crazy. What people are literally bringing branches from where? Where'd they come from?
Yeah, well, it sounds pretty bizarre.
There is something else, something weird. You're gonna be like, that's a conspiracy theory, allegedly. However, Kentucky Standard article. The reporter specifically mentions that a tree trimming service was present at the time Anna Whiteside's home, where Nick Houck lives, was searched. Tree limbs trimmed on Tommy Ballard's property with the Bluegrass Parkway. Tree limbs used to block the ramp to Bloomfield from the Bluegrass Parkway in the ambush of Officer Ellis. So then you open that up and they're talking about it in there, which maybe they're just trying to figure out, like, what the hell, where's this all coming from? Forest Avenue. Okay, a tree trimming service was working on the street right in front of the house. People were driving by the house as this was going on. Whiteside said he had not gotten a call about this. All right, pretty big. So I got to star that and come back to that one. Very interesting. These cases will lead you right down a friggin' rabbit hole. They'll make you crazy.
Yeah, I think the place that makes most sense is right around in this area is where you'd park. Because this person could just run around, cut down, get on the road, get out. This person, if there's another one on this side, just run straight across to the vehicle,
Right.
And it's not really that far, so I think that makes the most sense. If you park over here, you're exposing yourself out in the open. Sure. Way too much time. Over here, he could have passed the exit. That wouldn't have made sense. Over here, you park. He would stop there first, too, to check the abandoned vehicle. The only thing that makes sense, if you have a clean route, he takes his normal route. Oh, and now I got to stop and get rid of these branches.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would park where it's easy to get back to the vehicle from where you were shooting from. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah. I gotta find out more about the damn branches.
Yeah, well, that is kind of weird.
More later.
I mean, it is pretty weird about the branches. I mean, it'd be, interesting if we could hear what kind of trees they were. I think it'd be really stupid for that branches from pruning your own trees to use when it's so easy just to cut branches off in the middle of nowhere. That'd be a really stupid move by Nick or Brooke or whatever, if they were part of it, to then,
But didn't they have a huge farm, like the farmland that their mother lived on, their parents or whatever, and they were going up there? They'd have access to all kinds of different trees, wouldn't they?
Well,
I didn't think of those two nuts.
Dana said the branches were from somewhere other than here in Kentucky. So they were even outside of Kentucky. Huh.
That's what I hear. Yeah, so now I just made a note to check into that. So when we do the next one of these on the next murder, we're going to need to have a summary,
Yeah.
heads up on this one, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have like 10 minutes on this one because there's so much information out there. And I've been taking notes. You guys can hear me typing over here. And then Gray and I'll put something together, maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next one. What's today, Gray? Thursday? Tomorrow's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it is Thursday. I don't even ever know what day it is anymore. I thought it was Wednesday.
I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, days don't mean anything. I don't have day. There isn't like Saturday, Sundays the same as any other day. Nothing.
Same for me. I'm like, I don't know, except Scott's home on some of the days. Other than that, I'm like, I don't know what day it is.
Hey, Caslin, what does Amy think?
Yeah.
She said she's best friends with her. They knew each other from. I think I've talked to her before in emails. I'm just guessing where the car is based on what makes the most sense, not where, like, oh, it could be over here, it could be over here. I'm just trying to come up with what's the quickest way out after the shooting to get out of there. And if you park right here and you're assuming he's going to stop, that means there's no way another car is going to be there. He's going to be stopped there, and then you just run over and get to your vehicle. You just make sure it's out of the view of the tree that's on the ground. And then you're able to get out from any direction. Parking over here would be ludicrous, in my opinion. As a criminal, it'd be like you get up there and you sprint across a quarter mile across a bridge and around. And
yeah. Every day is Saturday. No, I mean, since I work from home, since she doesn't talk much about it, she's still scared. It's assumed it was the hoax.
Oh. When you say it was assumed, is it assumed by a lot of people, law enforcement included? Because it just does feel like
I think those two have their hands in everything, from drugs to guns to all of it.
Yeah, they're sort of like the local bad, running the show in the town, the bad element.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. If intent is to kill and no dash cam, why not park where the branches are set? Because anybody could have seen them, and then you're identified from anybody else. She says yes, but no evidence.
Well, that's exactly what they've done on everything. I mean, look at all the other ones. The killing of Tommy Ballard, the killing of Crystal Rogers. All of those have no evidence. The other murders we're going to be talking about are in Bardstown. I don't know what the connection is, if there is one, but it's still another crazy murder in this little tiny town.
I don't know. I'm going to have to prepare for Tommy's because his is the one that I was in a store listening to a podcast on that. I literally sat down on the ground. I was like, absolutely not. Are they making this up?
Yeah,
I didn't
crazy,
think it could have really happened. I was crying.
Yeah.
I don't know this man. I was like, this is horrific.
Yeah, because he spent like his entire, after his daughter went missing, he amassed this entire like box filled with his own evidence. And he was the kind of the main investigator really in the case. And then he gets shot. He was with his
grandson.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it's bad.
It was awful. Which podcast? Oh my God, it was a year ago. It's actually called Bardstown.
Yeah, I think that's that one that was done by that lady and the other guy. They went there. It was pretty good.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. So if you do go listen to it and you're a crier, forget about it. Because I'm not even a crier. And I sat in Walgreens and cried like a loon. I thought it was that he was shot as soon as he drove up to the exit, like the branches were.
Well, he was. That's what we were saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Who said we weren't, Case Smalls?
No, not Bardstown, down the hill.
Let's see. Yeah, so he pulls up, gets out to remove the branches, and then he gets shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's almost 3 o'clock, Ray Hughes.
Oh, yeah. We can get out of here.
I drank coffee. I haven't eaten yet.
I haven't eaten yet either.
What time is it for you? Noon?
Noon, yeah. I had an apple earlier.
I haven't eaten anything yet.
Let's see. I know Amy. I can't see some of the super chats. Let me go get over there. Hold on a second.
Yes, please become a member.
Yes, everybody, become channel members. Heck, maybe we'll just go to channel members only for chat at some point here. No, we gotta get. Yeah, who knows?
Oh, good Lord, Tracy, crashing into.
You can still watch it, but maybe it'll be cool if it was just channel members only for chat. That way, it's shorter, concise. You know, people that aren't there. You know, the trolls won't be showing up. Well, you'd hope you wouldn't have
get the trolls on the summer well.
Although I have a couple paying trolls. Of course, they buy the lowest membership level. You know.
I'd let them troll then. You're paying for it. Go ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
How would anyone know Tommy and grandson were even out hunting? Great question. Great question.
Well, it wasn't an accidental shot. I can tell you that.
No way. No way. Oh. Who's calling me? Missed call from, I don't know who you are, so leave me alone. So mean, Courtney. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you to Diamond Painting with Anxiety, Mama She 13, Angela White, Amy CHS, and Emily Flotilla for the super chats. And then we also have the channel members, new channel members. Let's see. Danielle Reamer and BVK, and that's it. I always get excited when I see hey, I've been a member for 4 months, which is cool and everything, but it's like, hey, that's not a new green one, you know. Yeah. I'm on your lowest.
I'll be right there.
Oh, well, that's okay, Candalee. I'm just saying I have some trolls that go over there.
I know.
And they pay for the cheapest one. You know, I always feel like if a troll wouldn't pay $4.99 a month. They're going to do the $1.99 one so they can see things that you might.
Yeah, trolls just want to torture us. There was some going on today. I'll text you later about it, Gray, but it was ridiculous.
Oh, really?
That's why I put out the video. Did you see my video? Can you go look at my short really quick?
What program are you using? I just saw a little bit of that Betty, whatever.
It's Snapchat.
God, it's
Petty
weird
Betty,
how
my old Snapchat filter.
Thanks, Dreaming Girl. Jessica Schubach. Yeah, I don't know how they. How they make that such a cool filter. Actually, your lips.
It's awesome. I love Petty Betty, but allegedly. All your opinions have to match mine, just so you're aware, right? So the next time you do fresh things, I'm going to call you, and it's going to be like this. Gray, while I was sleeping, were you out doing bad things on YouTube? And then you're going to say yes. And then I'm going to be like, I can't be your friend anymore. If you do it again, we're not friends, okay? All right, bye. And I'll send you an edible arrangement, bye.
Okay, bye.
That'll be it. That's how it has to go, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Yeah, a bunch of people saw it. It was just so silly.
So somebody sent you. So let me know what they sent to you.
Goodness. No, somebody was having a live stream, and because I'm friendly with cracking cases. They don't like that, which is fine. I can understand and respect that. That's no problem. And then there was a comment in there about we have a really good channel name, you and I. It fits us. I'm like,
you mean the So Mean Allegedly?
Yeah, So Mean Allegedly. And we're
That's
also
awesome.
partners. We're partners. So
Hey.
everything you do on your channel, you better start sending me 50% of the revenue, and I'm going to do it for you.
Hey, well, no, I won't do that. Hey, trolls out there. Hey, trolls out there. I'm actually proud to work with Chasing, okay? I've known her for a long time. She's a really good person, okay? If you're out there and you're one of the trolls that say something other than that, then you're an idiot. Like, you're an actual dumb person. Isn't that weird? I mean, just look in the mirror and just go and put the word dumb. Just start writing dumb on the mirror with the lipstick, okay?
That's why we did the Petty Betty filter,
Yeah.
because it was just so silly that I was like, we're not doing this.
Yeah, she's a good person. I've known her for a long time. She's a little bit more into the conspiracy stuff than I am, but she does try to use facts. She does try to use facts to nowadays. I remember during Kanika, it wasn't quite. Yeah, when Kanika wasn't quite. I would love if Kanika started now. How different you'd probably be if you went over it. No, I think you would think differently about it.
Of course, yeah.
A little bit. Like you would look at it more, because you were even rational then, because when you'd see one of my videos, you'd go, damn, you pretty much shredded that. You know, you're right. So
I used to watch it and get so mad at you because I really was on that side of the track, really believing, man. And then I would watch yours like, damn, he's logical. I hate that dude. I can't stand him. Why? Can he just take that video away? I can go back over here. No, the logic, I tell you. So you saw the bullcrap, Susie. Yeah, it was very silly. So
anyway, I haven't seen any of that stuff.
Good. Please don't see any more of it.
I just try. I don't know. I'm dealing with my own troll situations on other channels. It's always It's always the lesser, the channels that really can't figure out a way to actually do anything interesting. They have to bash the other one. Now, sometimes I do talk about other channels when they put out false information or misleading people or are scamming people. I'll talk about them. It doesn't mean I'm jealous. It doesn't mean anything like that at all. It means that I'm disgusted with them being in the arena tricking people for views and likes and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Because
I mean, listen. Gray's opinions are his own.
Yeah.
I do have my opinions, and Gray and I do talk about my opinions privately. It doesn't happen on my channel, people want it to. I understand you're so mad, but it's not going to. So that's just the way that I run my channel.
Yeah.
Whatever comes out of Gray's mouth, I probably agree with most of it. I just don't say it out loud.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and I'm, on my show, I'm just talking about. I usually talk about people, the people, for example, that. Like, I'm not a big fan of bullhorns at houses and stuff like that.
Okay, so we like you guys so much, but now we're leaving.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Eat,
but
and Gray's going to get me into some shit.
No, I'm always talking about the people usually regarding the Delphi case, right? Those are the ones that I'm, they're just not even giving it a real effort at trying to cover the case rationally. It's all about how can I do it with views? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do to get the most views? I think it's just better to cover cases where you're going over the factual information that's out there from credible sources like and then boom, you've got it. Now, if you do your own research and get a hold of people that might have something, that they might know something, then that's good too, right? But I don't know. You guys know what the hell's going on.
Just
it's crazy out there.
Do you? I'm gonna do me. And over here we're gonna do each other, but not like that. Don't do me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who cares what anybody else does?
I'm always gonna be me. Yeah. And she's always gonna be her. Me. Yeah. And the thing is, when I say something, it doesn't mean she's saying it. Like what I just said a second ago, has nothing to do with her at all.
Yeah. He's not me.
Yeah. It's weird how, and that's another thing I don't like either. It's like. It's funny how I'll be doing a show and I'll be saying something and somebody brings you up and go, Yeah, I think
happens all the time.
chasing would like this too, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's great and everything.
She's not me.
Yeah, I'm just doing my show, and she
Yeah.
does her show, and then we do this show together, and we're friends.
I mean, does
outside of it.
Stephanie Harlow get harassed like this over Derek? I'm gonna go with no. All right.
Yeah, probably
So
not.
Gray is down there. Do you see him?
Yeah.
We're not the same. I shaved today, so my beard's not there.
I did the other day, a couple days ago.
I don't even own a visor. How could I be him? We're
Yeah.
not the same. And that's it. I've got to go eat. I'm getting delirious now.
Yeah, I'm getting delirious too. But anyways, thank you guys. I hope you guys found that interesting. Definitely, I think it's really obvious that it's an ambush. It's just who was the person behind the ambush, and it does point to in a lot of ways somebody with inside knowledge of where Jason Ellis would have been that night, right?
Yes.
All right. So the next show we'll do will be a little bit of recap of this and any other information that we might find.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get right into the case of Kathy and Samantha Netherland. A really brutal crime that happened in the same town. All right. Awesome.
All right.
Are you going to stay on here for just a second or after I get off of here?
What? Now we got to talk in private? You're going to make them think we're doing private stuff?
Well, see, there you go. There you go. See, I didn't even say that.
No, I'm not going to stay. You know I'm not. So.
Okay. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time. And until then, be safe out there.
Be safe out there, yeah.
No, you say,
love you
what is
so
it?
much.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you're saying. Okay, here we go.
Mitch. Now don't talk.
Don't, hey, you're talking. I hear it again.
I just said shush. Laura's calling us meanies.
Oh, yeah. So mean. Ow.
So mean.